1:15. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Catherine Pereira and read by Geetanjali Ramanayaka. The headlines. The COVID vaccination program is being implemented in 256 centres from today. A stock of AstraZeneca vaccines will arrive in the island on Saturday. The government has agreed to provide solutions for the salaries of teachers under several stages. There is an increase in dengue patients when compared to last year. Sri Lanka Football Federation and the Department of Probation and Childcare Services Department summoned before the Parliament. In news from overseas, US and India to work for peace in Afghanistan. Local news in detail. Another stock of AstraZeneca vaccines is expected to arrive in Sri Lanka by next Saturday. Reportedly, a total of 728,460 jabs will arrive in this manner. However, priority will be given to those who have already received the first dose of AstraZeneca. 490,000 such persons are awaiting their second dose. State Minister Susil Premajayantha says that the government has agreed to provide solutions for the problems of teacher salary anomalies under several stages. He said that the government is unable to increase the salaries, which is unbearable for the economy of the country. However, the government will not hesitate to provide solutions for the fair demand of the teachers. Teachers should value their profession without limiting their services to 6 hours. He made these remarks participating at the Dasadesin program at the SLBC today. There has been an increase in the number of dengue patients this year when compared to last year. Several districts in the island have been identified as dengue risk zones. There is an increase in reporting dengue cases from the Colombo, Gampaha, Kalutara, Kurunegala, Kandy, Mathura, Ratnapura, Kagala, Galle and Hambantota districts. 16,497 dengue patients have been reported during the past period. 70% of dengue cases were reported from the Western Province. The National Dengue Eradication Unit said that reporting of dengue cases would be increased at the onset of the monsoon rains. The Committee on Public Enterprises has summoned the Sri Lanka Football Federation before the committee on the 3rd of next month. In the meantime, the Department of Probation and Childcare Services has been summoned before the Committee on Public Accounts on the 4th of next month. The Committee on Public Enterprises, the Committee on Public Accounts and 13 committees, including a number of consultative committees, are scheduled to meet during the first week of August. State Minister Shehan Semsingha says the government will mediate to fulfill the utmost justice for the girl who died with severe burnt injuries while serving as a servant at the residence of parliamentarian Rishad Baduddin. He said the present government is taking every possible measure to safeguard the women's rights as well as the rights of all people in the country. He also stated that the government has to mediate to implement the law properly. Meanwhile, the dead body of the girl will be exhumed tomorrow. A team of specialist doctors have been appointed to conduct the second post-mortem of the girl. This news comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The second reading of the parliamentary debate on the draft bill of the Kothalavala Defence University will take place on the 6th of next month. Before the debate, a special discussion will be held with the parliamentarians under the patronage of Minister Chamal Rajapaksha on the 3rd of next month at the parliamentary complex. State Minister Duminda Disanayake says that the solar power electricity generating project will be inaugurated in 15 selected government hospitals. A discussion in this regard was held at the Ministry of Health yesterday. The objective of this move is to increase the usage of renewable energy by 70% by the year 2030, according to the Saubhagya Dakma program of the President. That ends local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhaloka Vedamahatmya.
A vaccination program is being conducted in 256 centres covering 20 districts. During the past period, the first dose of the Covishield have been given to 922,242 individuals and the second dose of it has been given to 385,885 persons. The National Epidemiology Unit has announced that Sinopharm, Sputnik V and Pfizer vaccines have also been given to a large number of people. And that was our main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
In Watchlight, interviews for training midwives for the interim health services will be held tomorrow and the day after. The Ministry of Health has notified that interviews will be held for the applicants of Northern Province at the Jaffna Nursing Training School, while for the applicants of Southern Province will be held at Gaul and Matra Nursing Training Schools. That came to you in Watchlight, and moving on to a bulletin of world news. In the headlines, US and India to work for peace in Afghanistan. US supports further WHO coronavirus probe. Haitian Prime Minister vows to work to hold elections as quickly as possible. World news in detail now. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken has asked for India's help to stop the violence in Afghanistan. Blinken met Prime Minister Narendra Modi and later held talks with Foreign Minister Subramaniam Jaishankar in New Delhi yesterday. They agreed to promote peace talks in Afghanistan after U.S. troops complete their withdrawal at the end of August. Blinken said even though the US and NATO are withdrawing their forces, they remain very engaged in Afghanistan. Jaishankar said the world wishes to see an independent, sovereign, democratic and stable Afghanistan at peace with itself and its neighbors. The United States has expressed support for further studies in China by the World Health Organization into the origins of the coronavirus. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken met with WHO Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus in Kuwait City yesterday. The U.S. State Department said Blinken affirmed his country's support for the WHO's plans to conduct additional studies, including in China, to better understand the current pandemic and to prevent future ones. Haiti's new sworn-in interim prime minister has said his government plans to work to allow the Caribbean nation to hold elections as quickly as possible after the assassination of President Jovenel Moise plunged the country into deeper political uncertainty. Ariel Henry, who was confirmed as prime minister in a ceremony in Port-au-Prince last week, said yesterday that the mission of this government is to prepare the conditions to hold the elections as quickly as possible. Back to the headlines of the world news. US and India to work for peace in Afghanistan. US supports further WHO coronavirus probe. Haitian Prime Minister vows to work to hold elections as quickly as possible. That ends world news.
Development News is brought to you by
Quality matters than price. So as an engineer, I recommend Melva RB500. It's made with virgin billets using the latest technology. Melva RB500, number one in Sri Lanka. Truly Sri Lankan.
In development news, 4 towns in the Gaul districts will be developed under the 100 Town Development Program. Accordingly, Benthra, Ambalangoda, Kumarakanda and Habradua towns will be developed. 20 million rupees has been allocated for the development of each town. The project is being implemented by the Urban Development Housing Ministry under the patronage of the Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa. And that was Development News.
Development News was brought to you by
Quality matters than price. So as an engineer, I recommend Melva RB500. It's made with virgin billets using the latest technology. Melva RB500, number one in Sri Lanka. Truly Sri Lankan.
In sports news, the third T20 match between Sri Lanka and India will be played at the Colombo R. Premdasa Stadium today. Both teams are on equal points, winning 1 match each. The match will begin at 8 p.m. Suspended cricketers of Niroshan Dikwala, Kusal Mendis and Dhanushka Gunathilaka have been convened to the Sri Lanka Cricket Institute today. A 5-member committee will conduct a disciplinary inquiry against the 3 suspended cricketers. Olympic news. China leads the Olympic medals tally by winning 14 gold, 6 silver and 9 bronze. America is in the second place by winning 13 gold, 13 silver and 10 bronze. And Japan is in the third place by gaining 13 gold, 4 silver and 5 bronze medals. And that was sports news.
Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply. Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money.
The National Youth Services Council has commenced a program to create 50,000 new entrepreneurs per year. The objective of this move is to create small and medium-scale entrepreneurs in order to strengthen the local economy. The necessary financial assistance will be given for them through state banks. And that was Business News.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money. Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
Economic news. Courtesy of
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act No. 42 of 2011.
A high price has been established for the BOP category of Watruvilla tea produced by the Ceylon tea brokers. The value of it is 1,550 rupees. The relevant tea auction was held yesterday in Colombo. 6.8 million tea kilograms were submitted for the tea auction. And that was economic news.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act No. 42 of 2011.
Weather report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasir, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
The Met Department says few showers will occur in the Sabragamo, Western, Central and Northwestern provinces and in the Galle and Matra districts. Mainly fair weather will prevail elsewhere in the island. And that was the weather report.
Weather report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasir, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
To end this news broadcast, back to the headlines. The COVID vaccination program is being implemented in 256 centres from today. A stock of AstraZeneca vaccines will arrive in the island on Saturday. The government has agreed to provide solutions for the salaries of teachers under several stages. There is an increase in dengue patients when compared to last year. Sri Lanka Football Federation and the Probation and Childcare Services Department summoned before the Parliament. And in news from overseas, US and India to work for peace in Afghanistan. And with that, we end this news broadcast.